Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, good day, good life. Thank you for joining us for this week's Buddhist Church of San Francisco virtual Sangha service. And participating in this process of awakening to our mutual responsibilities to each other to keep safe and more deeply sane, aware of all the causes and conditions that impact our lives. And this virtual Sangha service will hopefully be a positive resource for us to keep the focus of our spiritual life, the awareness of the meaning and living of the Nembutsu. So for today, following this introduction, I'll offer and lead the reading of the three treasures that will be put on the screen. But for those of you who have our Shin Buddhist service book, it's on page 8, the three treasures number 1. Following the reading of the three treasures, we'll have the chanting for this week of the Sanbutsuge, and that too will be available on screen. Following that, for today's Dharma message, we're having Reverend Elaine Donlin Sensei share her thoughts and reflections to help us get through this experience of uncertainty together. And then for a meditative reading, I've invited Sensei Camille to offer a reflection, a reflective reading. And so that will conclude today's Sangha service. But at the end, we're going to have a very unique and novel musical expression of Nembutsu, presented by Reverend Koichi Mizushima, who is the youth director for the BCA. And he'll be singing a song from the very popular musical Hamilton, but with lyrics created by Sensei Todd Tsuchiya of the Twin Cities Sangha in Minnesota. And so I hope, as many of us have, you'll enjoy this very unique, innovative expression of encouragement that share the teachings of our Shin Buddhist tradition in a very contemporary, insightful way. So again, thank you for joining us. So at this time, I would like to lead the reading of the three treasures. Hard it is to be born into human life. Now we are living it. Difficult it is to hear the teachings of the Blessed One. Now we hear it. If we do not realize the truth in this life, when will it be realized? Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in the Buddha. May we absorb ourselves in the principle of the way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves the supreme will. I take refuge in the Dharma. May we be submerged in the depths of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in the Sangha. May we live in harmony in the great assembly as disciples of Buddha and be freed from all hindrances, becoming units of true accord in the life of harmony, in a spirit of universal oneness, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through myriad ages of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of the Tathagata's teaching. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu.
From the Sutra of Immeasurable Life, the verses praising Buddha. May we all awaken and realize this merit virtue so it be shared equally with all beings. May we together awaken the Bodhi mind and be born in the realm together of serenity and joy. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo 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 Butsu.
Please join me in Gassho. The ultimate expression of gratitude is the saying of the name, Namo Amida Butsu, acknowledging the good karmic circumstances that have blossomed into the true and real life of Nembutsu. Gratitude on the conventional level is a response to favors, kindness, and good fortune received from others. But gratitude on the religious level is an affirmation of the gift of life itself, whether we are young or old, poor or wealthy, in good health or bad, living alone or surrounded by loved ones. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namandots, 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 Namandots. Good morning. I've been thinking a lot about change lately. And I often joke that, especially with respect to the temple, that despite being Buddhists, change is often really hard for us. We don't like change. And maybe it's harder because we know intellectually that change, impermanence is a fundamental teaching of Buddhism. It's one of the major insights of the historical Buddhist, Siddhartha Gautama. Nothing stays exactly the same forever. And yet emotionally, it's not always so easy to accept this. It's not always so easy to let go. So many of us are struggling with change in the present moment. Some of us are struggling with the change of job, income, or housing insecurities. Some of us are struggling with the change in socialization, the change from not regularly visiting with family and friends, sharing meals and hugs. And there's the change in the restriction in movement. Right here in San Francisco, we have our continuing stay-at-home orders in order to mitigate the transmission of COVID-19. Some are struggling with the change of not being able to be in the temple, to offer incense, to chant together, and to sing together. And some of us are struggling with the change of saying goodbye to our soon-to-be retired resident minister, Reverend Kobata. Change is not always easy to accept, and it's not always easy to let go. And yet, as Thich Nhat Hanh says, without change, without impermanence, nothing is possible. Without impermanence, nothing is possible. That's so profoundly true. And so the challenge is accepting and appreciating the reality of change the reality of impermanence that arises throughout our life. I think the problem is that we usually appreciate only half of the cycle of impermanence. We can accept birth, but not death. We can accept gain, but not loss. Things are changing all the time. Some of these changes we grasp after, and some of these we push away. True accepting, and some say liberation, comes from appreciating the whole cycle and not just grasping onto those things we find agreeable. In reality, everything changes and nothing, including ourselves, is separate from that. Gratitude is acknowledgement of this condition, this intricate, interdependent network of change we call life. And maybe for this reason, it's central to spiritual practice. Gratitude requires that we look outside ourselves. Isn't that what the teachings are inviting us and encouraging us to do? To go beyond self-centeredness, to go beyond our egotistical self-cherishing, to break down that illusion of duality between me and you, us and them. Gratitude is a state of mind that arises when we affirm something happening in our life that comes from outside ourselves, when we notice it and appreciate it. And it can arise when we realize that we are all supported and sustained by both known and unknown compassionate activity. So expressing gratitude can indeed change our way of seeing ourselves and our world. In the opening quote that I read, written by the late Reverend Taitietsu Uno, he speaks of gratitude from the perspective of Buddhism's doctrine of the two truths, the two levels of truth or reality. First, he speaks of the truth of gratitude from the relative, conventional, everyday, common sense level. And then he speaks of gratitude from the ultimate or religious level. Quote, "The ultimate expression of gratitude is the saying of the name, Namo Amida Butsu, acknowledging the good karmic circumstances that have blossomed into the true and real life of Nembutsu," unquote. Shini-sama, Shinran's wife, succinctly explained how gratitude would express itself in the life of a Nembutsu follower. In letter number 5, she quotes Shinran as saying, "The repayment of the Buddha's blessing is to believe the teaching for oneself, and then to teach others to believe. This is the most difficult of difficulties." Namanda. I am so grateful for the good karmic circumstances that brought Reverend Kobata to the Buddhist Church of San Francisco 11 years ago. He has not only been our teacher, our guide, our inspiration on this path of Nembutsu, but he's also been our friend. For me personally, he's been a really special teacher. Not the kind who stands in front of you and lectures about what is proper or improper, but one who teaches by example, how he walks in his truth, how he lives the true and real life of Nembutsu each and every day. In the words of Shinran, such persons are like those who, imbued with incense, bear its fragrance on their bodies. They may be called those adorned with the fragrance of light. Fragrance of light, as Reverend Uno has explained, is a metaphor for wisdom, an inner quality that appears in the person of Nembutsu, in contrast to those who merely follow the formalities of religion. I am beyond grateful to Reverend Ronald Kengu Kobata for sharing his fragrance of light. BCSF has been imbued by this fragrance, this warm light, and has been changed for the better because of it. May we appreciate all the wonderful lessons and teachings that Reverend Kobata has generously offered through these many years, and offered them in a myriad of kind and gentle ways. And may we continue to bask in the fragrance of this light. My favorite gatha is Ondokson from the Hymns of the Dharma Ages, again written by our founder, Shinran. And I'm not going to sing it to you right now, but as I bring today's reflections to a close, I would like to share the lyrics of Shinran's words of gratitude with you. Such is the benevolence of the Buddha's great compassion, that we must strive to return it even to the breaking of our bodies. Such is the benevolence of the masters and true Dharma teachers, that we must endeavor to repay it, even to our bones becoming dust. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namandots, 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 Namandots. Namandots. Please stay healthy and safe. And please be sure to check back in on Sunday, August 30th for Reverend Kobata's last Dharma talk as the resident minister of the Buddhist Church of San Francisco. We all wish him a retirement full of golf, grandkids, social justice endeavors, and more golf. Thank you for joining in today's service.
Hello, everyone. This is Camille Pating, and this morning I would like to share with you a reading from Zen master, teacher, and poet Thich Nhat Hanh's Peace is Every Step, the Path of Mindfulness in Everyday Life. Our smile affirms our awareness and determination to live in peace and joy. When I see someone smile, I know immediately that he or she is dwelling in awareness. Our smile will bring happiness to us and to those around us. Even if we spend a lot of money on gifts for everyone in our family, nothing we buy could give them as much happiness as the gift of our awareness, our smile. And this precious gift costs nothing. At the end of a retreat in California, a friend wrote this poem. I have lost my smile, but don't worry, the dandelion has it. If you have lost your smile and yet are still capable of seeing that a dandelion is keeping it for you, the situation is not too bad. You still have enough mindfulness to see that the smile is there. The dandelion is one member of your community of friends. It is there, quite faithful, keeping your smile for you. Everyone please Kansho. Namo Amida Butsu, 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 Namo Amida Butsu.
Well, that will conclude this week's Sangha Service. I'd like to thank Reverend Donlin for her message and Camille Pating Sensei for her sharing of a meditative reading. And to thank again Kevin Yoza and Keith Kojimoto, our producers of these weekly broadcasts, and all the people who are continuing to support the Sangha and the work that our Sangha is dedicated to providing in maintaining a safe and sane community. So that also includes those of you who are able to contribute to the Dharma Fund to help maintain a fiscal balance so that our operations, whenever we're able to resume our so-called normal activities, will be in a very sound footing. So the announcements for today will be the usual book club. You're welcome to join in on Tuesday afternoons at 2 p.m. And so if you're interested to sign up, You just call into the office or send an email, and we'll send the instructions for how you'll be able to link into that activity. And then on Wednesday evenings, we continue to offer, through the leadership of Leo Joslin Sensei, our Wednesday evening mindfulness activity, which begins at 6:30 p.m. So with that, we will conclude this week's Sangha service with the unique presentation by Koichi Mizushima and lyric by Todd Tsuchiya from the very popular musical Hamilton. The song is "We Shall Return." Okay, so stay safe, stay mindful, and stay together in Kansho. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu.
You say the Nembutsu daily while chanting the Shoshinke. And you cry that the temples are closed and a bon has been cancelled today. Why so sad? Our song is still vital and Amida embraces us all. Never struggle with food. And Sensei on YouTube and Facebook is just not the same. We'll be back. Soon you'll see. We'll be grilling chicken teriyaki. We'll be back. We'll know how. Can't escape Amida's primal vow. We'll stand up when we fall. We are still just bamboos through it all. Oh, he gone, Kotane. We can't wait to gather up for service all together. Say Namo Amida, Namo Amida Butsu. Just say the name Butsu. Namo Amida, Namo Amida Butsu. Say the name. Get the juice and get Amida. It's hard to see the truth through our bones. And Nembutsu get you through it. Shinan said that's all there's to it. Opponents told him just do it. Just once, twice, whatever we'll do it. Forever and never and never and never. We'll be back soon someday. Hanamatsuri and Bodhi Day. Amida's love, Amida's praise. We are loved beyond our dying day. When we meet, we will smile, 'cause our sacrifice was worth a while. 'Cause when good comes to shine, our tempers have endured so much, but always thrive through boundless love. Namo Amida, Namo Amida Butsu. Just say the name Butsu. Namo Amida.